game, and this is the standalone expansion to the original Monster Hunter game, but this one does iterate on the system, and I don't think these games are completely compatible, so you won't be mixing them together, but this one does live in the same world, and it is going to be building on those mechanisms that you're already familiar with, but of course it's going to be offering a brand new story, a new landscape, new character classes, and of course, new monsters. And I did already cover the original Monster Hunter world in a previous video back when it launched a couple years ago, so I'll just go ahead and roll that previous footage for you so you can get a good idea of how these games play. But before I do that, I do want to go over a few differences between these two games. This is definitely not an exhaustive list, so expect a few more once the campaign launches, but just a few big ones that I was able to dig up is that other monsters can now get involved in your monster fights. So as you're fighting a monster, another monster could fly in, start attacking you, or start attacking the other monster. And you can choose whether you want to fight that monster and get rid of it, or you could even try to use it to your advantage to help you take out the monster that you're actually trying to kill. Not only that, but some of the enemies will now give indications that they're about to attack or give indications of the type of attack they're about to perform. And this is going to give players a chance to react to that attack before it happens and either try to get out of the way or perform some sort of action that could possibly work as a counterattack. But don't get too comfortable with this because the enemy strategies can change mid-battle, creating less and less of these reaction opportunities and making their movements just a little bit more difficult to predict. Another big change with this one is that if you do end up losing a battle and you end up fainting, it's going to be a lot more punishing because you're not just going to be able to keep all your gear. There's going to be some consequences to that, and you're going to be waking up with some of your items missing. And those are the main changes that I was able to dig up so far, but like I said, this is not an exhaustive list, so make sure to check out the campaign and other content creators to see what more the game has to offer. But before you do that, I'll go ahead and roll my previous footage so you can understand exactly how the original game played. Players are going to be working together to complete a choose your own adventure campaign mode or one-shot scenarios. This is not a hugely narrative game, but there are a lot of options, and this game is much more focused on smashing monsters and gaining loot. If I understand the lore correctly, you're actually going to be in a whole different world that's been overrun with giant aggressive monsters, and these monsters are so tough that you need other monsters in order to take them down. And what I mean by that is that you're going to have to start small being a relative term, because when you take down a monster, you'll get a bunch of loot and monster parts that you can use to fashion stronger weapons to take out those bigger monsters, gaining you stronger parts and continuing that cycle. Players will be completing a number of quests throughout the quest book, and these are broken down into 3 phases. First, there's the gathering phase, where players will be exploring the different environments, gathering resources, and searching for a monster that could appear at any moment. And then there's the hunting phase, where you'll attempt to slay the monster by playing cards and using your stamina to move around the board and make your attacks. The monsters may play a little bit differently depending on the decisions that you made up to that point, which will modify both its mood and its attack strategy. Finally, there's the HQ phase, where you'll be crafting new weapons and armor using the loot from your monster's battles, assuming that you survive.